today is maintenance day here in the shop. So I'm gonna do a bunch of overdue maintenance for this. I've currently got 19 hours on it, and it's well overdue time for an oil change. So I'm gonna change the oil filter, check the hydraulic fluid. I've got hydraulic filters, I've got fuel filter, I get air filters. Check this out. So Dean from Durrett sent me all of this goodness here. I've got fuel filters, I've got air filters, I've got oil filters, and then in these boxes we have the hydraulic fluid filters. So there's this big tall one, and then we've got a smaller one that looks like this. So today's the day I'm going to get into it. I'm going to learn how to do all this stuff. Hopefully you guys can learn some of it if you're going to work on your own machines. And yeah, let's jump into it. So first things first, on the rear of this, let's get into this engine. So I'm going to have to pull these bolts off. Let me grab my impact and a socket. Pulling off this back cover, very easy. 13 millimeter. So when you're pulling this thing out, twist it sideways, there's a bolt in the way, and you just set this thing off to the side. This gives full access to the big old Honda GX690 engine. And you can see the inner workings of the machine. So it's kind of cool. Fun fact, there is an extra hour meter right here, which is kind of fun. I don't know why. 17.9, 18.9. Interesting. So you can see all the inner workings. Here's your drive motors on both sides, all the engine wiring. You can see the jacket over the muffler in this, where the exhaust shoots out the side. You can see these hydraulic lines, where they go into the cooler. It's pretty cool. And then up top, you've got your valves for your controls. For ease of access of doing all this, I'm going to put the arms up. Prop rod. And that gives me hood access. Now under the hood, I need to do some cleaning because it's gotten pretty dirty. See the hydraulic fluid tank? Here's the 3 pumps. There's your little 12-volt battery. And then you can see your hydraulic lines. And here's the other side of these controls. And we can actually see the brand of the controls too while we're right here. So everything's neatly packaged and all tucked away, and it should be all pretty easy to do. So back to the rear, here's a really cool fact for you. This machine comes with an oil drain hose. As cool as that is. On my little mini excavator, it just dumps oil everywhere. But on this, you actually have a hose and you can pull it out here. And you can actually put a pan right there, and there's your drain. So that is a nice feature. I think I might want to drill a hole right here so I can put that down through it in the future. Let's go with the easiest one first. See these little latches here on the side of the top? this, you flip them up and you have access to your air filter. Let's take a look at the air filter. There's a wing nut on top here, and then you can pull off your air filter. So I'm running in some pretty dirty, dusty area, and that's looking kind of foul. This little pre-filter, the filter looks good, but that pre-filter is pretty nasty. So since I've got an extra one, I may as well put that on right now. Out of the bag, big difference. So let's have this thing sucking some clean air, because we're going to get into some dusty areas again. Put your wing nut back on. And then the little lid, it's pretty self-explanatory. The lid just goes right back on the top. And you snap it down. Air filter, done. So fuel filter. Fuel filter's not looking so great either. So we probably want to change that out. Here's a new fuel filter. Here's an old fuel filter. Yuck. So I need to get a little a tool for this and some pliers. So I'm going to dump some fuel doing this, but that's okay. So that just tells me my fuel tank is full and it is flowing nicely. Old versus new. Okay, now we've got a nice fuel filter and I can see the fuel. Now, by the way, this is not the same as the one I just put on. The one I put on is a see-through one with that pleated filter, and it's a little bit different size. You can tell they're not the same. So I don't think this one was ever see-through like this one is. So now I'll be able to see what my fuel's doing. Best way to wash your hands in the shop when you don't have water? Okay, maybe it's not. At least I'm not using carb cleaner or brake cleaner or something. Just some degreaser. Maybe I'll put my rubber gloves on for the next part. Something I've been wanting to do ever since I got this is to peel off all this plastic protectant. So I'm going to finally do that once and for all. Let me jump in here and get all these little bolts out of the way. That's a lot of effort. On the back side, to get it around these gauges, I'm going to have to loosen these nuts right here to pull the gauge out a little bit. And these I was just able to unscrew. I'll screw those back in. These I pushed on the tabs. It pushed through and it actually came out right around the ignition pretty well, but I need to unscrew that little plastic nut. So, but here's another view into the machine from up here. You can kind of see the hydraulics, and you can also see that oil cooler is not just here, but it goes all the way across. It's pretty big. Check this out. It's a 2mm Allen key. Look at the size of that cute little baby nut. That's what holds the hour meter on. That is so cute. Tools used for this little project: a 2mm Allen for the hour meter, a 3mm Allen for the 8 bolts that go around it, little pair of channel locks to get the ignition, and I needed an 8mm for the backside for a nut on the backside of the gauges. Very simple. I'm gonna pop it back together. Time to change the oil. Time to change the oil. Okay, next project we have tonight is changing our engine oil. Now you're supposed to change your oil after the first 10 hours as your break-in oil. I haven't yet. It's been 19 hours. So we're going to do that tonight. We're going to put some fresh oil in this, see what this oil looks like after 19 hours. Now remember, this oil was put in China in the factory. I have not touched it. So let's see what this looks like. I don't like mess, so I'm going to put a pan under it. Like I said, I don't like mess, so I'm going to put a drain pan under it on top of the pan. And it barely fits, but it does fit underneath. So this requires a 17mm and a 19mm. So they've got the drain plug here instead of on the base of the motor where you're going to dump it all over the machine. You've got it right here. So you need to hold this, put this one on, and unscrew it. And let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Don't want to lose my plug. Probably should pull the filler cap off too. Let it come out. That oil does not move very fast. It is just dribbling out. Just a little bit. Just dribbling. So yeah. If we wait for this to drain, I think we're going to be here a long, long time. While I'm draining the oil to my machine, I figure I pull these counterweights off. Let's see how much they weigh. 18mm on an impact. Wow. Man, it's heavy. Here's my little scale setup. This is my display. This is my scale. Let's just take this and lay it on the scale. 47.5 pounds. So, roundabout 50. So 100 pounds of weight with 2 of these on the back. Not amazing, but not terrible. They're certainly not light little pieces of steel. So if you're wondering, these are 1.18 inches wide or 30 millimeters. 30 millimeter wide, weighs 47.5 pounds. I want to see what's underneath this. Let's take a look. 10mm. $13mm. So that's a nice looking setup. Get your hydraulic hoses going in and out. And then you get this fan. This fan pulls. So when you're over on this side, it's not blowing hot air at you. It's pulling air into this, and it's pushing the air out. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I like that. That's nice. I'm curious to know what's under this gas tank cover. I'm gonna pull it off. Why? Because I feel like it. Because it's my machine. I can do it if I want to. There's the two 13 millimeters. Now we're going to go, the rest of them are 10s. Oh, can't do it with the counterweight on it. You have to remove the counterweight to get to this bottom one, unless I use a wrench. I can get in here with a gear wrench. There we go. So if you want to pull this cover off, these lines must have been put in after. So it's hung up right there. It's got to come straight up to come over the gas filler, but it can't because of that. So this gas tank is only that tall. The cover comes all the way up to here. That means if you want to install some switches or something, probably better here. But you can install switches. And if you ran switches, you could pop right through this hole and you could put a wire through there. So, in case you're curious, there's nothing in there. And this, when it sits up top, it gives you plenty of room underneath. Are you looking for a machine that's easy to work on? These are easy to work on. Now we know what's under the gas tank cover, and we know what's under the oil cooler cover. Our oil is all drained out, so I'm going to put the plug back in. We're going to pull the oil filter off. We're going to change out that oil filter and fire this bad boy back up. I'm sure y'all want to see the oil. Let me put the plug back in, and we'll pull this drain pan out and take a quick look. It looks like oil. Looks like nice oil. So I don't see any glitter. See any glitter? No. Looks pretty good. So yeah, that's a win. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to get back into this filter. This is what we're looking at. So right back here, see the oil filter? It's just right there. I'm not sure if I have the right wrench for it. And this fuel line just moves right out of the way. And the filter's just right there. I don't know what the chances of this are, but this filter wrench fits. This says, I don't even know where it came from. I don't know. It says it's a Hyper Tough 4213, 65 millimeter to 67 millimeter filter wrench. But this fits. I don't even change my own oil in my truck. I don't want to haul the oil away. So it's a mess. I just bring it somewhere and have it done. So I don't know how I have a wrench. Must be for a lawnmower or something. It looks pretty good. Looks like oil. Nothing crazy. So listen to this. This is the filter that Dean from Durrett sent me. Look, it's a Honda, right? He sent this to me from China, right? Philtech, assembled in USA. What? I don't know if that's the part number, but it says 6K14. 6 kilo 14. And this is our Honda filter. So I'm using this Castrol GTX 10W30, something I grabbed at the store. And as usual, a little bit of oil, wet that rubber seal, that little O-ring in there, and then we'll get it put on. Feels pretty snug. So now we've got our oil filter on, our oil's drained, oil plug is back in. This is our oil fill, and there's our dipstick right behind it. See this? So I think the dipstick might be easier to get to from the hood, but I made a little mistake. I don't have that option because I've got the arms down, the hood's not up, and I can't fire it up because I got no oil in it. So we're going to do it from the backside. Let me pull off the oil fill cap. Stick my little funnel down in, and I can't get to it. Man, this was not a good idea. This one doesn't fit either. Brings me to the last funnel. Okay, this one's gonna work. So we're gonna pour our oil in. Can't see anything. Okay. Hydraulic oil is your friend. It is your friend to the end. But we're gonna dump it in a drain bucket. 'Cause I said so. The last big to do on the maintenance list is change the hydraulic fluid. So I've got to lift the arms up, open the hood, and we'll get into it. Never forget your prop rod. So I'm gonna pop that booger in. Open the hood. So you can reach underneath the hood. We're gonna unscrew this cap. I've got these handy little, this oil filter wrench. I bought it on Amazon. I got a link in the description. So I guess this yeah, there's your filter right there. Down inside. So I'm going to take my handy dandy little pan, stick it underneath here. Then grab hold of my drain pan. See that? It fits perfectly underneath. So I got this awesome little Allen key set on Amazon. It goes from 2mm, which I needed on my hour meter, 3mm on the gauge cluster, all the way up to 19. And I've had to use a few of these. It's also got the standard ones from 5/64 up to 3/4. This is handy. So we're going to use the 8mm this time. If you want to buy something like this, I've got a link in the description. Click on my link. If you want to buy this, great. If you shop for another one, great. Because I get a percentage of anything you buy after you click on the link. It helps me and it helps the channel. I almost forgot to tell you, this video is brought by me. I don't have any sponsors. I'm just doing this with my own little machine because, well, I thought it would be really helpful to some of you. I can't find much information on these, and I want to grow my YouTube channel because I think that would be cool. So like and subscribe, click on my links in the description, buy some stuff on Amazon because I get a little, I think, I don't know, 3 or 4%. I'll take it, and yeah, talk to Jarrett and tell Dean that he should give me free machines. So I'm using my 8mm. It's really cool that this is the drain plug right here on the front. Super easy to get to. I don't have a glove on that hand. I'm going to use this hand. There we go. I feel like my drain pan's not going to go that fast. No, 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 no. Yep, it's definitely going to go over. That's a lot of fluid. That's more than this pan can handle, I think. There's no sign of it ending, is there? Yep, that's a lot of hydraulic fluid. So note to yourself, get a bigger drain pan than I have, because this isn't going to work at all. It's going to fill this lower pan. I'm about to have a mess on my hands. Here comes the mess. That's not what I meant to do at all. I just learned a valuable lesson. This little drain pan holds like 8 quarts. My little toy here holds a lot more than 8 quarts. Yeah, that is not a good idea to use that cute little drain pan to drain this thing. You probably want to pump it out into a bucket. Get a transfer pump, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what to do, but I do know what I just did was really messy, and it spilled fluid all over the place. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing. That was my first time, and it was a disaster. So I've just spent the last 15 minutes cleaning up the shop, soaking it all up. Bad, bad, bad. Holds a lot of fluid. A lot of fluid. By the way, the fluid that came out looked really nice. I actually regret dumping it because I don't think it needed it. Anyway, I'm going to get into the filters here. I have 2 different kinds of filters to put in this machine. One looks like this. I don't know where it goes, but that's one filter. The other filter, it looks like this. I also don't know where that goes. So there's my 2 filters. If you want to buy this one, this is the brand and maybe the model number. I don't know. Maybe that's just the company. But this one's a JL08. Juliet Lima 08. Let me find where these filters go. I have the direct manual printed out with a little brochure, pages on the front. But I've gone through the whole thing. And this does talk about in here some oil. It doesn't talk about hydraulic oil. I mean, it does. 500-hour checkup, change hydraulic oil. 100-hour engine oil. So, yeah, like it has all kinds of information here. Here you go, 10-hour checkup. Check the hydraulic fluid level. So, check hydraulic fluid stream level every 10 hours with the engine off and the fluid cooled. Hold the level between the markings 9 and 11. On this page, it shows us our engine oil viscosities for the Briggs & Stratton and the Kohler. I have a Honda motor. This doesn't have anything on Hondas in here. And this does show a hydraulic tank. I don't think it's the same one I have. It's very similar. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. But at 250 hours is when you're supposed to change the hydraulic oil. And that's all it says. I don't know how much it takes. So I went to O'Reilly's and I bought 2 gallons. They're $22 a piece. I could have bought a 5-gallon bucket for $75, which is cheaper, by the way, because these two, $44 for 2 gallons. So 4 gallons would be $88, and 5-gallon bucket is $75. So I'm not sure where else to buy it, but this is the AW46 from them. And yeah, it's cheaper to buy the bucket, but how do you get it out? I guess you have to buy a transfer pump, stick it in the bucket, pump it in there. I don't know, it sounded easier to do this. So I think I'm probably going to need 4 of these. So $88 instead of $75. I don't know. Should I return these and go get the bucket? I don't know. I've got these now. Kind of want to put it in and see what it does. So That's what I'm going to do. We've got a little rag. Like to keep stuff clean if I can. Just lay it over here. And we've got this. This is some sort of nifty little cap. So I've got my cute little cap here. And then I've got a filter. This filter looks beautiful. Really, it does. It looks beautiful. Here's my brand new filter, and here's my used filter. I don't really see much difference here. They look about the same. It looks pretty simple. I just take my filter and I stick it back in. And then I take this little thing and I stick that back on. I'm going to be honest with you guys here. I'm pretty irritated about this hydraulic oil change. So many comments on my videos, so many people on these Facebook groups, so many people say when you buy one of these, immediately drain the fuel, add new gas, drain the oil, add new engine oil, drain your hydraulic fluid, get all the metal shavings out, get all the crap out. So I didn't right away. I've got 20 hours on this. I just drained my hydraulic fluid, and you know what I did? I wasted money. There was no reason. The Direct DRT 450 manual says 250 hours. So I just went through all that effort, made a disaster in my shop. I got all kinds of oil all over the place. Don't know exactly what I'm doing. I probably should have read up on that a little bit better. But what I did do is I wasted a bunch of money. The filter was beautiful. I opened both of those up. They were beautiful. I can't tell the difference between the one I took out and the brand new one I took out of the box. That fluid, there was no metal shavings in it. It looked beautiful. The engine oil, it looked beautiful. Now that, you do need to do your brake and oil change, but it was great. There was nothing wrong with it. So engine oil, good. This hydraulic fluid, honestly, so I bought 2 gallons for $44, and I think I need to buy 2 more. So I got to spend 80 some dollars on this? Really? Maybe more. I don't know. That tank was big. It drained a lot of fluid. But for all of you saying you've got to change all that, that's not an auction machine. This is not a piece of junk auction machine. This is one of the higher end Chinese machines. They're not all created equal. Just because somebody went to an auction and bought a unit that some company in China was just pumping trash out, and they just wanted to sell containers to an auction house in the US, and somebody in the US bought containers of machines that haven't been QC'd, were filled with crap fluids, doesn't mean they all are. This is not one of those. So thank you to all of you that told me I have to change my oil. Well, now I changed my hydraulic oil. All it did was waste a whole evening in the shop. It's 11 o'clock at night. I just got home from work at 7:30 tonight. I left for work this morning at 5:45 a.m. Got home at 7:30. Ate dinner, came out here in the shop, and I've been jacking around with this for no reason. So now you've got your video. You see my fluid was beautiful, my filters are beautiful, and it's a waste of time. If you buy a machine from Direct, I bought mine from Dean. If you buy it from Dean and he says that it's good, trust him, it's good. Don't listen to all the haters online. Just because they buy crap doesn't mean it's all crap. Anyway, there's my rant. So now I'm going to go through the struggle, and I'm going to pour hydraulic oil back into the machine that I drained out for no reason, and now I've got to get rid of gallons of used fluid. Stupid. 1 gallon down. 2 gallons down. And I had just a little under a gallon in this one. So now I'm going to have to go back to the store and buy more because I don't have enough. So I'm already $50, $60 into this change, plus the filters, just fluids alone, $50, $60. And there was no need for it. Thank you, internet gurus. AW46 hydraulic oil, AW46 hydraulic oil, I love changing my oil. No, I don't. I don't at all. This stinks. So I found the other filter. It's inside the tank. I asked Dean with Durette, and he said you pull these bolts off. So I'm gonna pull these off real quick and let's take a look. You got 4 on the inside and there's 4 on the outside. So I've been messing with how to get a tool in here because it's not very easy, but you just put a ratchet in and you can get in there. And then I'm thinking I take, by the way, these are 13 millimeter bolts. So I'll take it, get a wobble, put it on a ratchet. And that ought to work. Don't lose your little washers. So I've got this cover off. I'll move this filter housing out of the way. I got the cover off. There's 2 filters down inside. And they look actually really good. So I think I'm in good shape. It looks like, here's my lines. See those 2 lines right there and right there? They both have filters on them. And then this, where the flow comes through, it has a filter too. So that's a pretty solid setup. Yeah, I didn't know there were 3 filters on this fluid. Nice. Some secrets I learned from doing this, getting to your filters. 1, they're a pain in the butt. You only want to do it when the machine is empty of fluid. And you have to drain the whole thing. Take out this filter housing with the 2 hoses on it. It's a 6 millimeter Allen key. You want to take this one off also. It sticks down below and you won't be able to get the cover off very well. This takes 4 3 millimeter Allens. Little teeny tiny Allen. So you want to take that off. Use your ratchet and a short 13 on the front. You can use an extension on these ones, and after you break them loose with that short 13, you want to use a wobble. You can put it on a gun, power ratchet, or impact or something. When you get this, you want to clean this out the best you can. Maybe take a blower and blow the dirt out before you take this cover off, because well, as I learned, dirt will fall inside no matter what you do if there's dirt around the edge. So when I took it off, I cleaned that all up. I cleaned all the surfaces really well. And then I put the rubber seals back on. This rubber seal on the big thing, make sure you get it lined up with the holes. On the front here, what I did is I used this little thing and I stuck it down in there and I weaseled it around and I got it to move. I got these 4 bolts in, hand tight, and then I moved that rubber around. I could get the bolts in the backside. It was kind of a pain, but now that I've done it, I kind of get it. But I didn't get it when I started. So learn from my mistakes, make your life easier. This needs to be done for the first time at 50 hours, and then every 250 hours after that, you want to get into your fluid. So I'm going to go fill this up now, and then I'll be done. My maintenance will be done. So wish me luck. I forgot to share with you something really important. Underneath your red cap is the large filter. You might have to twist it a little bit to get it out. Don't drop it. This goes on the top of your filter. It does not stay on very well. It's a pain. This goes on the bottom of your filter. See this long ways? It goes like that and it sticks in. If you put it short ways, it just falls out. So you want to put it long ways. And then you've got those on your filter. And when you stick it down in this hole, you want to be careful so the ends don't come off. Twist it a little bit, wiggle it down in there, and you can feel when that bottom plastic goes down inside the hole at the very bottom. So when that happens, now you're good to put your cap on, and this will fit over that top plastic. So get that top cap on. Should be down on the plastic, and I'm going to use my filter wrench and I'm going to tighten that up. Helpful tips I've learned. I went to Harbor Freight and I picked up this Pittsburgh gear oil fluid pump. Pump gear oil, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, hydraulic oil, compressor oil. Fits most wide mouth quart and gallon containers. That's 5 gallons. Dang it. Oh well. Seems to be working. Hey Siri, how many ounces are in 1 gallon? This thing does 1 ounce per press. There's 128 ounces in a gallon. This is 5 gallons. This will take 640 pumps to get this out. I don't think my arm's got 640 pumps in it. So last night I put in about 3 gallons. Tonight I put in 1 5-gallon bucket. I didn't open that. I'm going to return that, probably buy 1 more gallon, put another in. It's almost to the full line. Each of these buckets are $75 at O'Reilly's. And I could just get another gallon for $22. And I think I'll just get another gallon for $22 instead of burn up to $75. I just don't have room to store lots of stuff in the shop. So I'm going to fire it up and see how it works. I think we're back in business. I just want to take a moment and let you know that this video has brought to you by me. I don't have any sponsors. If you want to sponsor me, just let me know. Reach out, you know? I could use some. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have one of these direct DRT 450s or one of the similar machines to this, one of the other ones that's rebadged 450, hopefully this has helped you and shown you how to do some of your maintenance on it. Maybe you have some better ideas. You've worked on one of these, or you know something I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a professional. I'm not an operator. I'm just a guy with a toy hanging out in my shop late at night, 10:30 p.m. to be exact. And if you're thinking about getting one of these, maybe this video has helped you make your decision a little bit easier, or made you decide you don't want to deal with it. I personally think it's awesome. I don't like doing maintenance. I don't like doing it on any of my vehicles. This was not fun for me, but hopefully it was rewarding for you, and I needed to do some of this stuff. I've got more content coming up. I've still got a little bit more to do. I'm going to show you another video, all the grease fittings and how to grease everything on it. I also have my stump grinders all set up with my carbide bits, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to try out the stump grinder and see how well it works. I haven't done the auger yet and a few other things. I fixed my 4-in-1 bucket too. I've got more videos on fixing my broken attachments that not broke because of the quality, but broke because I'm an idiot and I was rough on them and I busted them. Don't smash them into each other. They're not demo derby cars. If you want to do me a favor and show your support, like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. It's very important. One of these days I do want to have sponsors and advertisers, and the larger the channel get and the more subscribers I have and the more views and the more comments and all that good stuff, the easier it'll be to do that. So thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, in the description, you're going to find a variety of information. 1, where you can get the machine. 2, a Facebook group that I've started, keeping all the salesmen from all the different companies out. Just a safe place for all of us to talk about buying, selling, working on, whatever we want to talk about these things without having to worry about all these paid actor, random people in there talking about whatever. I have this Duret machine, I have a Kimron machine, and I plan to get some more in the future and make more content and really grow this channel of reviewing these from just a normal guy's point of view. I'm not a professional, I'm not an operator, I'm just some dude hanging out late at night with his machine, like I said. So anyway, thanks so much for coming out. I really appreciate every single one of you. As always, enjoy your time in the trees, or in this case, a shop in the backyard in the trees.